Good morning. Welcome back to the trailer park. I am Chanda-Masta, your host from the trailer park, and we've got a lot to catch up on. Oh my gosh, I haven't done a show like in 2 weeks, it feels like, of my own show anyways. Of course, we took the YouTube strikes for talking about Bill Gates and Fauci 2 weeks ago. Well, I took it, all right, as he just reaps the benefit of me getting in trouble. And so we were shut down for over a week. And then at the same time, my studio, Mercy, she had to be torn apart and taken and put on the rack, as Oz says, because she needed some problems. Oh, I got a co-host. Hi. And so yeah, I just got my studio back together, and I'm not even signed into half my stuff. So if you are looking for us on Rumble today, sorry guys, I'm not on Rumble. I couldn't. I don't know. I wasn't logged into anything. I couldn't get it up. I couldn't get it up this morning, but we will be back there. Let me get logged into the Rockfin so I can say hi to you guys. I saw a few guys hanging out this morning. I know Convo is going to go live right around 11. So we're going to do our best to do a recap of this weekend. All of the protests. Of course, Amber and I, Roar Media, we hit the streets of Seattle and hit a couple of different protests. And I got some updates for you, a couple of pictures. And then we'll kind of touch over the news. Where is my Rockfin? Come on, Rockfin. Okay, there we are. Why is my chat not working? We've had really bad wind here for the last 12 hours. So my power's gone out like 3 times this morning, which keeps resetting my stuff. So if you lose me, that's what happened. You got anybody hanging out in the chat yet? Oh my gosh. I thought nobody would show up today. I was like, oh, I don't got nobody scheduled. I wasn't scheduled. Nobody's following. Look at you guys. Popeye's hanging out. Hey, Popeye. Yona. Are we waking and baking this morning, Yona? Life's not good unless you do, right? Anthony. Hey, Natalie. Did I miss you this weekend? I don't, people come up to me and talk to me, and I try to catch everybody's names, but you know, I'm old, so I don't know if I missed it, and I feel bad always. Chili, good morning. Who else is in here? Of course, Popeye, Anthony, Oz the Boomer. Kate's on her way to Vancouver Island today. Oh, we'll say hi to Miss Pamela Anderson for me. Isn't that where she lives? Who else is in here? It's Cold Fusion Gaming. Yeah, I took him on an adventure this weekend, didn't I? Oh, I couldn't even move yesterday. Let me tell you guys, man, this weekend, we started out Sunday morning, and I hope you guys can hear me okay. I had to drive 2 hours away to catch the nearest ferry, and oh, my hair's glitching. And then, of course, we walked 7 miles because, and we'll get into all that, but I did a lot of walking. So yesterday I didn't get much done. I was super tired. And so this show is kind of a clusterfuck this morning, but we'll get through it. Patty in NYC. Thank you. No, Shanda, I was having a bad day on Sunday. Honey, I'm so glad you didn't. It torrentially downpoured on us. It's the second worst miserable protest I think I've ever been to. So it's okay. It's all good. Let me see if I can fix my issues. Oh, there we go. Oh, nope. Maybe that's a little better. I'm in StreamYards this morning because for some reason I could not get into the Restream studio. So bear with me. I'm half-assing it today. I apologize. So yeah, it was torrentially downpouring and it was pretty miserable in Seattle. But all in all, DC looked like it was very successful. And I got pictures and I got stuff for you guys. So we'll get into that in due time. Let me bring my deck in here. There we go. So yeah, this is my thrown together picture. Of course, we didn't just go rage against the war machine. We found out Fauci was in town, and we decided to let him know what we thought about him before we headed up or headed down to protest the war machine. And I got to tell you guys, it was interesting. It was heartbreaking. It was eye-opening. And all I got to say is we're so fucked. We are so fucked. There is more people that want poison in their body. I got to be careful. I'm on YouTube. There's more people. I didn't say anything about, you know what, but there's more people that want it than don't want it. And there's more people that want war than don't want war. That's what I came home with this weekend. So we are a small handful of pushing back, and it's heartbreaking. It's shocking. Patty in NYC, you did amazing, Shanda. Oh, thank you. You know who did amazing was Amber. I didn't actually do any speeches. I did recording and trying to live stream, which, oh God, it's always, you have tech problems when you're stationary and in your own place, in your own studio, but then you get out on the streets and it's never ending, right? I mean, I had 2 cameras with me. You've got connectors, you got battery packs, you got adapters, and one of my adapters went down, so I couldn't hear the studio. I mean, There's always something. But we are getting better. We are getting better for sure. Oh, I did such a great job on it. Let's hear my intro. Come on. I like it. Let's listen.
Stand up. You've got to manage. I won't sympathize.
Yep. You got to stand up, and I ain't going to sympathize anymore. We can't, right? We don't have time for that. So fair use, not like it does us any good. Yes, that is a Bjork cover. Love me some Bjork. I've been to quite a few Bjork concerts in my life. Yeah, fair use for what it's worth. I'm just commentating. These are my opinions. Please go out there, do the research, form your own opinions, because that's what puts you ahead of the pack in this game lately. So, welcome. Let's see. Lost Adult. Welcome to the stream. I'm seeing a couple of new faces in here. I'm so glad to see you. Abcab, welcome. Let me shout out my rock fan today, Anthony. Retod, thank you guys so much for joining me. If you do me a favor and hit the like button and share, I mean, anything we can do to help us in the algorithm is a plus, because, we're shadow banned and algorithmically challenged. I'll just put it that way. But we're going to keep going. I don't know if you guys heard, YouTube is changing all of its policies for content creators. They're trying to push us into being straight up short creators. So, and especially after all the strikes that we've taken lately, they just want to get rid of us. The people with opinions, they want to push us out. And now they're taking, was it 55%? It's either 45 or 55% of all super chats. They were already taking a huge amount, but now they're taking even more. Isn't that insane? Here, we take 55, you get 45, even though you're doing all the work, and all we're doing is holding a boot down on your head. And yeah, so we're going to be doing a lot less on YouTube, but you guys are adapting so beautifully. I mean, we weren't on YouTube the weekend before, or, because of our being shut down. And you guys turned out in droves to watch us on Rockfin and Rumble. So yeah, you guys are doing the work to move away. And YouTube, all you've done is kill yourself. You shot yourself in the foot, and that's where we're at. Gamer, good morning, Gamer. So happy to see you stopping by. Like I said, we got an early convo today. So as soon as we see them go live, I'll be pulling the plug on my show, and I'll be sending you guys over to hear from Pasta and Fee. I think it's so important with the work that especially Fee is doing on the ground that we hear from them. So, hey, if you guys want to help me out, here is my buymeacoffee.com/trailerpark. Seems to be working really well. I actually got paid out. Or, of course, you can always hit me up on the PayPal. I know how we feel about these platforms, but it's what we've got to deal with right now. Okay, let's get this show started. We're going to start out with this day in history. Let's see. How do I split it? I know with this one I can split it. Oh, there we go. See, this is what I like about StreamYards, because I can't do this shot right here with Restream. I like to have a little deck and then me, but I can't do that for some reason on Restream. Okay, so this is your day in history. Let's start out with 1848, the Communist Manifesto. Marx is published, and 1885, of course, the Washington Monument was dedicated on the grounds of the mall. Ooh, that big, huge phallic penis has been hanging around for that long. And let's see, 1965, very sad. Of course, Malcolm X was murdered. 1972, President Richard M. Nixon heads over to China. He's the first national head to ever stop by China. 1997, of course, Dolly, the first animal to be successfully cloned, happened on this day, February 21st. And then 2018, of course, the world lost the one and only Billy Graham. We were just talking and making fun of him the other night on B&B, right? So that is this day in history. I just kind of like to look back at and remember these things. It makes you think, right? Like, oh, yeah. And this was a leftover, because this was February 19th. So today's the 21st, 19th. But I thought it was noteworthy. And never forget, on February 19th, 1942, the president of the United States, oh yeah, that one that everybody loves, FDR, authorized our government to incarcerate Americans simply because they looked like the enemy. More than 110,000 American citizens and immigrants of Japanese ancestry were forced to give up their homes, businesses, and way of life, their freedom. And it was one of the worst civil liberty disasters. Stop repeating history. Yes, stop repeating history. Don't think they can't and they won't do it again, because they will. We know they will. But I just thought that was important to cover this morning. Okay, let's get into it. Oh, these are headlines I don't care to cover. George W. Bush for the Nobel Peace Prize. Oh yeah, why not? Let's give old Bushy I invade Iraq a fucking peace prize right next to Obama, right? Why not? The more they kill, the more they deserve. That seems to be their mentality. And of course, Biden is the Nord Stream bomber. Seymour Hersh. Yeah, Seymour, I'm so glad that Seymour came out and told everybody that, but we've been telling you that since it happened. I mean, Biden told you himself that he would do it. So shocker. That is headlines I don't care to cover this morning. I smoked a wedding cake strain last night with my uncle, and it was very tasty. I like the wedding strains. The wedding cake strains. Those are indica based a lot of times, or a hybrid indica. So yeah, Nobel Peace Prize, Anthony. I agree, right? Hello, Amber King, Voxavix, you hanging out? Good morning. So glad to see everybody. Yeah, whatever. Give him a peace prize. Why not? It doesn't mean anything. To us, it's like the standard of being a total piece of shit, right? That for me it is. So let's talk about Rage Against the War Machine and wanted Anthony Fauci for crimes against humanity. Now, I have to be really careful about how I describe what we did this weekend because we are on YouTube and you know what happens. So we started out the morning. We headed over to the Seattle Convention Center. So I walked my way up from the ferry all the way up to the convention center. And there was a small, there was probably 10, 15 max of people out protesting in front of the convention center. And why? It was because it was the 30th anniversary meeting or convention of CROI, the Conference of Retroviruses and Opportunistic Infections. So Fauci was the keynote speaker, special recognition and personal perspectives from Fauci. And here, I'll see if I can pull that in. Yeah, I can pull that in so you guys can see it. Oh, that makes it easier that I can do that. Okay, so as you can see, this is what we're talking about. They were there for their big summit. And literally hundreds and hundreds of, I'm assuming, medical professionals, drug reps, people in the know were walking by us, heckling us. I mean, they were heckling us more than we were heckling them for sure. Like, you guys are idiots. Do you know how much these people have saved your lives in the last 30 years? And I'm like, well, is that when they started releasing shit on us? Was 30 years ago? Like, it was just insane. I mean, it was mind blowing. But the most mind-blowing part of this for me was, and then when you look at what the presenters and the resources, of course, Miss Amber King with her stealthy research, she's the one who sent me that. She's like, oh my God, you have to look at who these people are. You know, you want to see the receipts, definitely hang out with Amber. She'll bring you the receipts. Let me see. So this is us out there. And they had a nice little tent. They had a little PA system, and we tried to get some interviews. I got a few interviews with my camera, so I haven't actually loaded them yet, but they're good, and I'll get them cut this week. And then so I run to the bathroom, and I come back, and I hear Jamie Deluxe being played over the loudspeaker at these people that are walking in. And of course, Fauci's inside and they're all inside. And we can't even get near it. Like, it's a convention center, but you can't go use the bathroom, nothing. You're the enemy. You're not allowed in. So we're just kind of stuck out there. So I come walking up and I hear Jamie Deluxe and I'm like, I know this voice. I'm like, oh my God, that's Jamie. This is Jamie's breakdown on AZT. we have profiled that so many times. Of course, I interviewed Jamie a couple weeks ago for To Hell and Back. Jamie's done some amazing research into Fauci and who Fauci is, right? And so this amazing group out here, and they are called SeattleTruthNetwork.com. They were out there passing out these flyers to everybody that walked by, and it has the Nuremberg Code on the back. And of course, they were reading out the Nuremberg Code, which has been violated so badly. Fauci is a sociopath, yeah, for the last couple of years, so badly, right? So I go, I know this guy. This is Jamie. So I start recording it. I'm like, oh my God, because Jamie doesn't realize, and speaking to Jamie, we kind of live in our little bubbles. You don't realize the impact that your work is doing. You're just doing it right. You're hoping you're reaching people. You're hoping you're getting the message out, because it's not about clicks or likes. It's about getting information out. And so I start recording it, and I'm like, hey, Jamie, you're here in spirit. So it was really nice to be able to reach out to him yesterday and be like, even though you weren't in Seattle and these people didn't know who you were, your message was being played to all of these people as they walked by. It was awesome and so informative. I mean, they don't know his history, his evil history with these drugs, right? They don't know about the Beagles. I mean, they don't know the things that we know, right? So I'm so glad that there was at least a group pushing back. One group was very sad because they were there because they had lost a family member during the mandate process, and they couldn't contact him. They couldn't be. He pretty much died alone, right? Things that we've been screaming about now for 3 years. Family members dying alone because of these mandates, which Fauci says I didn't do, but yeah, we all know better. So I got to show you this too. So this is the swag that they were walking out of there with. Every single person, I saw hundreds of these backpacks go by that day. And so if you've ever been to a big convention, I used to go to the big marijuana conventions, and each booth is giving out stuff. And depending on what ticket you buy, you get certain levels of access and swag. And I'm assuming that this was one of the bigger levels because most of them were coming out. You see the spike protein on the back? Cartoon, right? Cartoons. So, and we kept asking them, what's in the bag? What's in the bag? Show us what's in the bag. Tell us what's in the bag. We got some pretty funny comments back, but so that's what that was. And yeah, update: Biden admin negotiates deal to give the WHO authority over U.S. pandemic policies. Now, we've been talking about this for a long time. And yeah, it's happened. It's happening. They're going to be able to come into your city, your town. Pretty much our sovereignty is gone. Like, they have the power over it, right? Thanks to Biden. And let us forget, actor Sean Penn says COVID-19 vaccine should be mandatory based on how well he looks after partaking of it. Why not? Yeah, why not? They're safe, they're effective, right? As we know. So that was the first part of the day, and it wasn't really raining on us. It was a little cold, and it was Seattle. It's a very gray day. It was I I kept watching the weather, and they kept saying, "Oh, it's going to be a 50-degree day. It's not going to rain." So I kind of dressed for what the weather said, and then when we got over there, I should know better. I've lived in this town forever. I froze all day. I literally probably spent 2 hours looking for a pair of gloves downtown Seattle. And we're talking the mall, Target, Nordstrom Rack. Every store I walked by, I went in to see if I could find a pair of gloves or a hat because I was freezing. And apparently, yeah, he's a CIH stooge for sure. They are out of season. Who knew winter season ends the beginning of February in Seattle, but retailer, that's what they think. Yeah, Sean Penn needs to shut the fuck up and go hell away. I am so over listening to this guy. Like, he is the biggest CIA via the CAA freaking talking mouthpiece we've ever seen. And we've seen a lot of them, right? There's quite a few of them out there. But God, he seems to be the head one right now. So he needs to hush. So from there, we worked our way down to Seattle Center. And here's the thing. So we were up at the convention center, and we have the monorail in Seattle, right? Nice monorail. It takes you straight up to the Seattle Center. You can get on it, at the mall. And so I go over there, and I'm like, okay, let's go buy a ticket. And you walk up, all they have is these kiosks now to buy a ticket to get on the monorail. Well, I don't take cards with me. I don't travel with cards. I try to use cash as much as possible, and I implore all of you to do the same because convenience of having a card on you all the time is they're tracking everything that you fucking do, and now they're getting away with pulling cash. So they're like, I go, okay, well, how do I use cash to buy a ticket for the monorail? And I'm like, oh, you can't. I'm like, you can't use American fucking currency in Seattle, downtown Seattle, to buy a ticket to travel fucking half a mile up the monorail. What the fuck? They're like, yeah, no, just cash, and we highly encourage you to cover your face, if you know what I mean. And I was just like, you know what? Fuck this. I'll walk. And we encountered this a couple of different times just or traveling, they want to know where you're parking via your card. They want to know how you're traveling via your card. And we have to stop doing it. We have to stop. I mean, I could have very well have thrown money on a card. I have like 10 damn cards that I could walk in anywhere and throw money on a card. But that's not the point. The point is the fucking principle that I can't use American currency to travel in America. Like, what the hell? So, yeah, I walked a total of 7 miles. I huffed it all the way up to the Seattle Center. Got there at the same time as Amber, so that was funny, but, um, no more, no more. I will not. I absolutely refuse. I will find a different way from now on. And you know why they do that? I mean, yeah, they're trying to create a cashless society with the CBDC, right? We already know that that's coming. The fucking digital bank currencies. They don't want you to use cash. But here's the reason why I think they really are doing it at the monorail, and that is because it discourages the homeless and the vagrants to ride the monorail because, hey, they got cash, right? They don't have cards. They don't have credit cards, so they can't get on. And basically, I find it a discrimination. They're discriminating against cash carrying people. I mean, it pisses me off. And then I'm like, should I write them a nasty email to their, whatever their website is or whatever? And I'm like, is that a waste of my time? I mean, I don't know. Is it a waste of our time to be saying, whoa, this is bullshit, guys? You're discriminating against people. I don't know. Most weed stores use mostly cash or debit, no credit. Yeah, in Washington State 502 stores, you're not allowed to use debit cards or credit cards because it's not FDIC insured. The Fed does not recognize legal marijuana, so therefore it makes handling cash handling credit a no-no. I mean, there's a couple of places that are doing it. They get away with it by having a convenience store on the other side, or, I've seen a couple of different things like that. But for the most part, it's cash only. And here's the thing. If you own a marijuana shop, you are you're not allowed to bank with regular banks. Like if you wanted to go open an account at Bank of America, no, sorry, we're not set up to deal with reporting to, to the feds with we can't cover your money. We can't insure your money. So then you have to buy your way into a bank. So basically we had to spend and I'm not even kidding, like $6,000 to buy an account with a bank that would allow us to bank with them because they knew that we had dirty marijuana money. And the nearest bank, there was only like 3 in my state, and my nearest one was 200 miles away. So literally to make a deposit from the marijuana store that I was managing, I would have to drive an hour, get on a ferry, go to Seattle, go up to the bank, deposit the money. So here I am, saving up, and we're talking, $40,000, $50,000 worth of sales within a week or so. I'm saving up all that cash, and now I got it on my person, and now I got to travel 200 fucking miles to deposit that money because it's not FDIC insured. And that's all because the feds don't want to deal with it. They just want to dump it on the states. So, we keep hearing Biden talking out both sides of his face about federal legalization. Bullshit. No. And when they do, the biggest thing I learned about working in the marijuana industry is never let the state control or regulate fucking anything. They'll just rob you. And that's what they're doing with legal marijuana. Now that I've gone off on a total different tangent, but you guys started it in the chat. You did. Lizzie, good to see you. Good morning, Lizzie. Glad to see you. Let's see, Amber. I got to tell you guys, Miss Amber King fucking rocked it on Saturday. I'm so proud of her. Amber, you're getting to be so much stronger of a public speaker compared to where we were a couple of years ago. I mean, Amber's definitely got a better knack for it than me. I don't know. I have imposter syndrome really bad because I'm just from a trailer park and I feel like, who the fuck am I to be up here telling anybody anything? So I'm trying to get over that. I really am. But I don't know how to. I guess smoke more weed. But Amber killed it. She had such a great in-depth speech. I think we were live and Oz killed it, getting you guys all the streams. I know so many of you were watching. I was kind of getting updates out in the pouring rain. And I know so many of you were tuned in. Um, Thank you so much, Oz, for all the work you did. And I'm sorry to the stream when we're on the street and it's really hard because we're having tech issues. You can't hear us. Sometimes we're there. Sometimes our streams just drop. We will get better at it. I mean, we haven't done a lot of street events, so I look up when I'm not. Oh, thanks, Popeye. Yeah, I just got here because people keep encouraging me to use my voice. I started out at a Bernie rally in 2015 and here I am now. Ironically, I was shocked at how many Bernie people were at the anti-war rally. Um, that get that we are under a uniparty. Both sides are equally bad. It's not about pivoting and moving right, as they like to say. So many of our leftist friends accuse us of joining the right, but we haven't joined anything. We've just stepped back from the whole uniparty, two-party paradigm. We ain't playing that game anymore. We're calling the truth out. And so, yeah, we saw a lot of people that, we've actually organized with for quite a few years. It's good to see both right, left, libertarians. The libertarians were great out there. I got to tell you, I enjoyed their speeches, talking with them. And then, of course, Free Assange, Seattle freaking brought it. They always do. Great boost, great backgrounds, good information, getting petitions signed for Assange. Always great work. But I got to tell you guys, we were fucking heckled. We were heckled. I don't know, there's maybe 150 of us out there standing in the pouring rain. It was very disappointing. I would hope that there was going to be more people that would turn out, but maybe some of it was the weather. I mean, you can see it was Seattle gray out there. I mean, it was pretty nasty, especially right at showtime. You can see all the rain, right here. It was wet. And so I think that was why a lot of people didn't turn out, because it is Seattle, right? I mean, we should have a good turnout. But I couldn't believe the people walking by screaming at us that they want war. Like, you guys are idiots. We got to defend Ukraine. Just like, I was just shocked. I mean, I literally came away from the whole entire day like, holy crap. We are such a small minority of people that actually understand what's going on. And I think that we're just screwed, guys. We're so fucked. That's what I titled the show today. We're so fucked because until it's the blood of their children that's being shed on the Ukrainian ground or abroad, Americans are not going to turn out at the Washington Monument like they did for the Vietnam War until it's their sons that are being sacrificed, their daughters that are being sacrificed. And sadly, we got a little ways to go before that happens, which might be sooner than later because, of course, Biden is over there right now, kissing Zelensky's ass is what we've seen. But yeah, I'm trying to read what Amber's saying. They'll pay the big banks. Yeah. They make money the more the state solvents. Yeah, exactly, Amber. We need state banks. We've been screaming for state banks for almost 10 years now. I have been. So what the hell? Why are we still playing these games? So, but Amber, great job this weekend. And I think I might have another picture here. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Let's see this. What is this crap? Fucking Sean Penn. He never shuts up. Oh, yeah. This pissed me off. Did you see this? Sean Penn says U.S. has to accept level of shame for not arming Ukraine faster. You guys were too slow. You were too slow with giving your billions away. Too slow. I just wish that CIA cook would go away. DC looked fucking amazing, guys. I was listening to Pasta and Jimmy while we were on the street. I could hear a little bit of it. Of course, I got a chance to catch up yesterday with a lot of it. And amazing job. It looked like amazing turnout. Look at the weather. Amber, why isn't ever that goddamn nice when we're there? The last few times we've been to DC, it's been wet, rainy, and cold, and it might as well been Seattle. Actually, I think it was probably warmer in Seattle than it was in DC the few times we've been there. It is encouraging to see that many did turn out on the National Mall. But until we can line that mall all the way down to that big phallic penis, we're not going to change anybody's mind, sadly, I don't think. But this is a start, and this is where it starts, right? This is how we start. Do I have any more picks? Oh, this is Denver. Denver brought it too. So I'm glad to see we had representation on the West Coast, the middle of the country, and of course the East Coast. So glad to see that Denver. I mean, but this is what I'm talking about. Look at how tiny of a turnout it is, especially in a state like Colorado. It's supposedly blue state, right? I mean, yeah, it's got its red areas, the purple areas, but you would think that there would be more people out, but that's not what happened. So it was a start. This last weekend was definitely a start and needs to be done. Yeah, wow, right? But I'm glad to see Denver had something. Those are the only 3 cities I saw. There might have been more out there. I haven't had time to really cruise much. What did I do with that picture? Oh, that one. I like that picture of Amber and I, but I need to clean it up. I haven't had a chance to blow it up and zoom us in. But of course, we're hanging out in front of the Assange mural. So all in all, it was a good weekend. I appreciate you guys sending us, of course, the donations that you guys made to me earlier in the year to go to Cuba, because originally I was going to go to Cuba and then I was going to do DC. I just used that money to go fund this trip. So we're flat. I can't go to Cuba because you got to have 6 months validity on your passport to get in. So I was just like, okay, well, then I guess I will shoot for Argentina in the fall with the rest of our fam. So hopefully, I heard there was something in Sacramento, but I don't know how it turned out. Wesley, oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Morning, Jack. See you in here. I'm so glad to hear it. And that's what it needs to be like little, just everywhere because people can't, you know how much it costs to go? I mean, I'm on the far end of the West Coast, and every time I go to DC, it's anywhere from it used to be about $2,000 if I went pretty budget wise and, maybe hit a connecting flight or took a red eye, stayed in a halfway okay hotel. But now, just in the last 6 months, prices have gone fucking insane. I mean, and we were just there in October, so I have a pretty good comparison of what's going on. Okay, let's get to the actual news part of the show. I got to show you guys this. So I'm walking through downtown Seattle and there's a huge crowd down down by Westlake, and I'm like, what in the hell is going on? And it's this thing called the Friends Experience. Now, the Friends Experience is a store basically where you can go buy crappy Friends merch, but they have a bunch of sets apparently that you can go take pictures like you were on Friends with your friends. And you would not believe the amount of people that were down there. I was like, oh my God, if we could get half of these people to come up to any of these rallies, that would be amazing. But no, it's all about consumerism. And the thing is there's a whole new generation of kids that are falling in love with Friends. So I was just shocked. I was shocked about the amount of people that were vying to go into this place. So just thought it was weird. Sharon Williams, good morning. The uniparty, by another phrase I heard recently, 2 cheeks of the same ass. It's sad to have to continue witnessing the effects on friends who are so afraid to think about what will happen if they don't support and vote for one cheek or the other. But I've never given up. I love you, Trailer Park Pundit. I love you, Sharon Williams. Thank you so much. You're absolutely right. It's 2, what do we say? 2 wings of the same bird, but I'm going to stick with the 2 ass cheeks of the same ass. That's perfect. And that's what it is, right? And I know, right? Even for me, it's hard to convince myself not to participate. Like, I'll look at my ballot and, I was an elected Democrat for 4 years. I was an elected PC of the Democratic Party for 4 years. So it's really hard for me to come out of that participating. I feel like I have to. It's my obligation. I have to vote for somebody, even if I'm not voting for the Dems, right? I got to vote. And so it's been really hard I did bow out one midterm. I want to say the midterm before last. I was like, fuck it, I ain't voting for anybody. I'm over it. But now I'm at a point where I'm just doing informed voting. I'll leave it blank if it's a shit lib versus a neocon. But if there's a liberal in there or an independent or a Green Party, somebody I can give my vote to that I don't feel filthy about, then I will. But other than that, I absolutely think our elections are a fucking joke, right? We all know, especially any of us who have been on the ground with the Bernie Sanders campaign, that Well, I'm not allowed to say it here on YouTube, but it's that R word, RIGG. Yeah. So, but to each their own. Okay, let's get into Biden's disgusting secret trip to the Ukraine. Of course, he had to stop by to make out with Lizinski and give him more money. No, everybody keeps saying he's not over there giving them more money, but he is over there giving them more money. He's just wording it differently. Oh, I thought I had a video of that. I think I do the next, but oh God, did you guys see this? Let me show you this. And then I'll show you the Biden video where he's going to give more money. Let's see. How do I get that bigger? There we go. So Lizzie Prickles, she retweeted this. See, this is what I love. When you guys retweet something, then I get to see it. So you guys are all contributing to the show all the time. So thank you, Lizzie, for tweeting this out. It says, those who've ruled in Ukraine and the U.S. are true psychopaths. Can you imagine that this was done in Russia? Could you imagine if they did this in Russia? A Ukraine politician gives Pelosi a bracelet made with the Ukrainian bullets that killed Russian soldiers, and she positively proud of it. What is that? So yes, those right there are bullets that have passed through Russian soldiers' bodies, and then were collected and fashioned into a bracelet for Pelosi to gawk over and be like, look at the dead Ruskies on my wrist. Yeah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if they did that over there? And they were like, look at all the dead Americans I have on my wrist, like I have all these dead Americans on my wrist. Can you imagine? Oh my God. So disgusting. What else was on that one? Of course, Ohio train derailment, no plans for Biden to visit East Palestine. White House says, of course, Biden wasn't going to go there, right? Biden makes surprise visit to Ukraine for the first time since full-scale war begun. So, but remember, Trump's going. Trump will go visit the Americans, but Biden, nah, not so much. He don't need to. What the actual fuck? I know, right? What the actual fuck? It's unfucking believable. All of it. So if you're progressive, the road to your movement inside the Democratic Party leads to a graveyard. Chime has been saying this since 2015. And goddamn it, I looked her right in the eyes. I stood toe to toe with Chime Sawant in 2016, in August of 2016. And I said, I'm going to go into the Democratic Party and do what Bernie Sanders asked me to do. I'm going to reform it from the inside out. Here I am 6-7 years later, and there ain't no reform in that corrupt ass party at all. Ain't ever gonna happen. Oh, I brought you guys some Peter Ducey. Peter, pumpkin eater. Let's see what Peter has to say about this.
That was all part of a very elaborate ruse, essentially, to give the Secret Service and the U.S. military time to prepare this visit. According to a very small traveling press pool that was with the president in Kiev, he did not announce any kind of new assistance that the Ukrainians have not already received, but he did say they're going to get at least $500 million more dollars, $500 million more dollars in security assistance. Oh my God! My butt's been wiped. My butt's been wiped.
His butt's been wiped. Anyway, so yeah, $500 million more dollars. Biden took over and, offered, but hey, we're not giving him more money. It's not for that. It's for this. We're calling it something else. But he can't even go see the middle of the country that has been poisoned and burned. And no, you could tell where his priorities lie. And that is with his donors in the Ukraine. Oh, this was sick. So this is Tucker, and Tucker's Tucker, guys. Sometimes I agree with Tucker, sometimes I don't. I appreciate that he gives some of our circle a platform, right? I mean, you see Jimmy Dore over there, you'll see, a couple of people over there, but Tucker's got his problems. But let's check this out. So this is Chicago, and this is the O'Hare Airport, and we're not talking about our infrastructure at all. The regime is not talking about our infrastructure. They seem to think our infrastructure is just fine. Trains are derailing, blowing up all over the country, Yeah, let's just check it out, how bad it actually is. This is our infrastructure.
Alderman Lopez, thank you so much for coming on. What do you see?
Can you guys hear it?
Tucker. Good evening, Tucker. As we walk through the airport, the fourth largest airport in the United States, we've seen this beautiful gateway to Chicago been overrun by the homeless, where every night 200 to 300 homeless individuals come off public transportation and set up encampments here in baggage claim and throughout all 5 terminals. All the while, the mayor's voice is blasting from overhead, welcoming any one of the 65,000 daily visitors here in this indoor outhouse that we call O'Hare Airport.
How could the mayor of Chicago allow one of its most famous landmarks and a transportation hub for the whole country to be desecrated by people urinating in it? I don't understand.
They're not just urinating in the hallways, they're taking baths in the toilets. They're making a mockery of what Chicago is here. And we understand that homelessness is a problem we must address, but making O'Hare Airport a homeless shelter for hundreds of people on a daily basis, when we're trying to welcome people here, when we're trying to encourage tourism, bring back the business clientele, bring back families to our city, and to only have them greeted by hundreds of homeless who have mental health issues, may be armed, maybe not even be clothed, that's not something that institutes a lot of confidence in our mayor, in our city, and clearly she doesn't care because she's 17 miles away from it.
Surrounded by city finance bodyguards, unlike you. There's an election coming up. She could win. How could that happen?
Right now, Tucker, we are 12 days away from the city's election. And as you know, we've been pushing hard to ensure that she does not have a path forward. But it's amazing in a city like Chicago that we have so many individuals who are hiding behind white guilt and privilege as an excuse to stick with the failed mayor.
Is it white guilt and privilege? Is that why they keep voting for old Beetlejuice herself? She says there's no crime problem at all in Chicago, right? And then she's forced to admit it, and she'll go, okay, well, there's a little one, but it's not that bad. We're working on it. I agree with you, Yona. I think this is a great use of our infrastructure. If we can't house them, put them in the fucking airport. Yeah, it sucks. And maybe the everyday Americans walking by on their way to, their next convention or conference or vacation will actually see it and decide that it's time to start screaming and putting pressure on our public officials to do something about it, to start housing these people and stop doing these huge giveaways that they do when it comes to dealing with the homeless, right? I mean, we've covered it for years now. The amount of money that is going out to help with the homeless in every, major state, every major city, it gets pocketed. They never can account for it. It never actually trickles down to the people who need it most. And yet again, here we are. It's getting, homelessness in our country is getting worse every damn day. People are being just driven out of being able to even afford anywhere to live. Affordable. We have no affordable housing in this fucking country. The cost of living is through the goddamn roof. I don't care where you're at. You could be in the South. You can be in the North. It doesn't matter. When you're making less than it takes, to pay your bills, then what do? Sadly, we're seeing so many people that are living in their cars now that are fully employed, right? Living on the streets that are fully employed. I watched a video yesterday of a guy who's living in a sewer in New York. The guy had managed to get power down there. He had a computer. What else can you do? You have to learn to survive. Correction, she is the daughter of Beetlejuice and Don King, because men can have babies, you bigot. Dingo. What was I thinking? Of course, I know. God, Don King, that's funny. That is so funny. So I just thought that was ironic when Biden is, flying all the way around the other world, sneaking in halfway around the world. And we've got so many problems here in our own country that he's not even bothering to address or even acknowledge exist, right? They won't even acknowledge the Ohio thing and the EPA. I don't remember what this is. I wrote this show this morning at 5:00, so bear with me. We'll see. Okay, we knew that.
You said that there is no
watch his body
detection of
language.
Contaminants in raw water from the 5 wells that feed into
Your body
East
never
Palestine's,
lies.
Municipal water system. The Ohio EPA is confident that the municipal water is safe to drink. Are you confident enough, sir, that you yourself would drink it?
Right here.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
If I was there right now,
Absolutely.
I would drink it.
I would
The
drink
impact
it.
of the fish, yes, there was a impact of those. However, the levels as we have seen it are protective to groundwater.
And if the
Okay.
state said that the water has been tested and the
State
water
said it's
quality is
okay.
safe, then I would trust those readings.
Trust
and if
it.
and yes, I would re-enter my home. Now, obviously, there are people who would make different decisions based on their means. And if people want to go different places and want more assurances or want time to pass a little bit, they have a right to do that. But for those who can't, I am asking that they trust the government.
Trust your government.
Oh my God.
Are you comfortable with saying that you would drink that water?
Oh, absolutely. Look, we've tested this water, all 5 wells that go into the village system.
Look at the
clear.
sheen.
Absolutely, the water.
Absolutely.
The water is safe.
Absolutely. I would drink it.
Trust the government.
Cincinnati cuts off drinking water for Ohio River due to the East Palestine
The
derailment.
experts we are talking to at Greater Cincinnati Waterworks tell us shutting down the intake of the Ohio River here is completely out of an abundance of caution. This all comes after that train derailment in East Palestine.
There was more toxic chemicals on the train than we reported.
Don't worry, everything's fine.
Trust the government.
I'm going to have to pass.
Things are going to get worse before they get better.
So there you go. Your body never lies. You know, I always watch those body analyst people, right? There's quite a few of them around on YouTube, and your body doesn't lie. So when he's shaking his head no, his body is giving him away, and he's saying, no, I would never drink that water. But he's out of his mouth, he's saying yes, right? The EPA has been a fucking joke. Everything polluted always. Thank you, Anthony. That's exactly what the EPA stands for. I mean, we've been calling the EPA out since I was born. I mean, it seems like since the 70s, the EPA has been co-opted joke. Yeah, the Illuminati for sure. Let's talk about James O'Keefe. He's gone, right? He got cooed out of his own company. I don't know, is it like The Intercept? I haven't seen anybody compare it to Glenn leaving The Intercept and then The Intercept just kind of becoming a shit-lib paper, but I kind of have a feeling it'll be the opposite. It'll be, you know, like the neocons will now control Project Veritas. Well, they already have. I mean, Project Veritas had a major slant on their shit, and I didn't believe their shit. I mean, I'll give you this. I thought Project Veritas was great all the way up until they started attacking the Bernie people for stupid shit, and it was just like, okay, this is clickbaity. And are we glitching? Yeah, my weather's bad here, so it might be the weather. But yeah, he's officially gone. I don't know if you guys watched some of he did like a 5-minute breakdown yesterday, and you know, his thing. So let's hear this, see if my buffering gets any better.
We have some breaking news for you this morning with the announcement that Project Veritas, the group best known for using undercover techniques to expose some truly disturbing stories about some of the richest and most powerful organisations in the world, well, they've parted ways with their founder and until recently CEO James O'Keefe. O'Keefe really is Project Veritas in the eyes of many. And before his departure, he addressed the group staff. Here is some of what he said.
As a former board member told me 10 years ago, Project Veritas will never be stopped from the outside. It will only be because we stopped ourselves, right? I'll get to that too in a minute. Prophetic as it may be, that is exactly where we find ourselves in the situation today. A situation where I've been stripped of my authority as CEO and removed from the board of directors. I bet you didn't know that. I'll get to that in a minute. Contrary to what public statements may say.
That's interesting, isn't it? He's saying basically, despite the heavy attacks against the group from authorities, from the mainstream media, it's being weakened from within. And he also explains what the next chapter might hold.
But that conflict was even more fundamental and essentially boiled down to this. And my vision, I'm going to paraphrase Howard Rourke, the architect, quote, I don't build in order to have donors. I have donors in order to build. That's what I believed, and I felt like we had a conflict of visions. We measure our success in terms of what we produce, not just in terms of our wallets. That was a pretty fundamental conflict, I felt.
So there you go, the end of an era, right? Will we get any more of these hidden video, exposés out of James Keefe? Who knows what he'll be up to, right? Yeah, I quit following Project Veritas years ago, so any more. I think that Steve's right. Of course, I was watching AM Wake Up this morning, and I think this has more to do with the shit libs going after him for releasing Ashley Biden's diary than it does for the Pfizer leaks. I mean, it might be a combination of both, but they were seriously pissed about that fucking diary. I mean, they swatted his ass for that, right? I mean, he went into handcuffs and they violated his journalistic rights. So we saw it. So just their way of getting rid of him. Another one bites the dust. Yes, Convo Couch will be live today. Of course, Pasta was traveling yesterday with everything that was going on. So I do believe him and Fee are going to go live very shortly. I think they were shooting for 11. We know how Convo is about time. So if you guys see them go live, give me a heads up. Bill Bradley, welcome. A co-opted just means all the employers are on the corporate board. It does not mean that the company won't chase profits. It does mean the company won't vote out whomever they elect to run it. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. They've got their donors. They're going to keep going after that neocon donor money, right? And since they're a nonprofit, it comes in a little different than for profit. And as you know, we are a nonprofit too. You can always head over to Roar Media on Rockfin. We are women in independent media, and you can support us over there. But we are truly nonprofit, no slant, other than we're just fed up with the bullshit. So I get how the nonprofit board works because I am chair of our board at Roar, if you didn't know. Okay, I got one more shitty story for you. And that is Jim Carrey is pissed off that he got nailed on the flight logs, Epstein's flight logs. And he is suing some YouTubers over it. Did you see this? Okay, so last week we had the big, the Epstein list is going to come out. They're going to release the Epstein list, which was all just hype and bullshit, right? We knew they were never going to release it. Like, come on. And then when I think they reported that there was going to be one major star on it, right? I was like, oh, let me guess, it's going to be Trump. This is how they're going to try to take Trump out again. Okay, they'll be like, oh, it was only Trump and Trump only that did all the bad stuff with Epstein. Anyway, so Jim Carrey, a lot of people think Jim Carrey is the wokest guy, right? He's so woke. He's above Hollywood. He's not a part of that Hollywood elite. I'm here to call bullshit. The guy is a total D-bag, and so is Sacha Baron Cohen while I'm at it. I won't go off on Sacha Baron Cohen today, but he pissed me off. I watched an interview because, Pamela Anderson's out there promoting her new book and Netflix documentary. And of course, she was in Borat, right? Remember, she was in Borat. That was what Borat was about. He was going to move to America and marry Pamela Anderson or some shit. So anyways, he did an interview where he's like, oh yeah, I like Pamela Anderson, especially older Pamela Anderson, like when she was with Kid Rock and Tommy Lee, not the Pamela Anderson that got it on with Julian Assange. Like, what the fuck, you piece of shit. Like, yeah, he had to put that in that interview. So yeah, Sacha Baron Cohen, goodbye. But let's talk about Jim Carrey. Let's check this out. Suing little YouTubers. There we go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm being sued. I know this probably comes as no surprise to most of you based just on the type of videos that I've been putting out there lately. But it might surprise you from whom the lawsuit is coming, which is Jim Carrey, of all people. Yes, Jim Carrey. So this pertains to the Jeffrey Epstein flight log video that I did that got, like almost 3 million views, right? So in this video, I didn't make the video. This is a video that was made by someone else. And I shared this video and commented on this video. Well, in this video, his name is mentioned as being on the flight logs to have traveled with Jeffrey Epstein. And so I shared it, Is it true? I don't know. Probably. Is it not true? Maybe. I don't know. There's sources that say it's true. There's other sources that say it's not true. And anyway, so then I get this cease and desist today from Jackaway, Alstain, Tyler, Weatherman, and so on. Long, a bunch of attorney offices. It says, strictly confidential, not for publication or posting. So what do? The first thing I do is publish it, of course. Listen, you should not send somebody a cease and desist if you don't want it to be public. You shouldn't do something and then be ashamed of it, right? If you're going to sue somebody, if you're going to do something that is going to be public, then you have to want to do it bad enough that you're okay with everybody knowing about it. So I'm posting it. And so anyway, it says red. Jim Carrey / Vincent Briatore, Epstein Island flight log video, cease and desist. Basically, it says that all this stuff is categorically false, and it has prevented Jim from being able to get new jobs, and it's harmed his career. He's not doing nothing lately. Like, he's probably relaxing, right? And that I have 48 hours to take it down, or Mr. Carey is going to pursue legal action. He's going to sue my butt off. Well, didn't say butt off, but he's going to seek, the max damages allowed by law. And
Okay, so I saw somebody asking who that is. Who is this, Chanda? This is Vincent Briatore, Briatore. So I've actually got this information from Tug over at the Umbrella Guy. And so then I had to go do some research to find out exactly what YouTuber it was that had taken this. And I actually remember watching the video. And of course, yeah, it wasn't his video. It was an older video of the flight log lists that have been out for years. Like, I think these flight log lists have been out since Epstein got arrested the second time. And I think I saw that Jim Carrey was on there a long time ago. There's a lot of names on there, right? I love the what's his name? Jeffrey Jones. You know who Jeffrey Jones is? Jeffrey Jones is the principal from Ferris Bueller. And I always thought that guy was creepy. So when I saw him on the list, I was like, oh yeah. So anyways, I'm not making any accusations, Jim Carrey. I'm just saying you're a douchebag. And go ahead, sue the shit out of these YouTubers, because we still have some freedom of speech in this country. And yeah, you were on the flight log, so you got on the list. I mean, what more can I say about that? But let's go check out how woke Jim Carrey is, because, Hollywood loves to say that Jim Carrey is one of the wokest stars, of course, next to Robert De Niro on Meathead. But yeah, let's check out his wokeness.
And neither of us exist. And we're energy. We're one giant field of energy dancing for itself.
Dancing?
That's exactly it. And we shouldn't take it so personally, because it really is just a beautiful, beautiful relative manifestation, and it's here for us to enjoy.
Thank you for your energy.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey. Thank you again.
Sir. All right. I appreciate it.
And
apparently here anyway.
We are
not actually here in an absolute sense.
Yes, but we are live
And
on.
Theta Vedanta sense, we don't exist at all.
We are going through that lens on the iPhone.
Not really.
Not really.
No.
I think we are.
We're just
I
a
think
cluster of tetrahedrons
people
soaked in desperation.
Well, that part's true.
That is true.
So
There's no you.
No.
We're not here. This is a dream.
There's just things happening. And there are clusters of tetrahedrons moving around together.
Okay.
He loves to say that, right?
No matter what happens. Absolutely. I think that we have to play our parts as relative manifestations of consciousness. We're on a game grid here. This is a lovely fantasy we're going through. And I think
It's a lovely fantasy we're going through, especially if you have money, can go anywhere.
Right.
And, so
You don't have to live on the streets.
Ultimately, got to remember that it's not who you are. This is not who we are. We're in an absolute sense every freaking thing that you see is you. And you are so, beyond immense, beyond imagining. So that's why I live. I live outside my body, in it too, but outside it. So I don't get hung up.
Michael doesn't look like he understands. I don't know. Is it just me, or is Michael Moore? Does it look like that's just flying over Michael Moore's head, right? So, yeah, these guys. Fire Marshal Bill. Yeah, Oz. Fire Marshal Bill is out here suing YouTubers because how dare you talk shit about him, right? I mean, we can do breakdowns of him being accused of ODing his girlfriend, and that's okay. But don't you dare say he was on Epstein's Island. Oh, crazy times we live in. I brought you guys a United spot. How we looking? No convo yet?
Can you take my order? What?
Can you?
I'm speaking waitress. Don't you understand?
You're supposed to say, can I take your order?
Yeah. Why would I take your order? You're not the boss of me.
Whatever. Just give me a bottle with some vodka in it.
And I'll get the free taxpayers' eggs Benedict, please. And for the racist,
I'll just have another glass of liberal teas.
he totally wants to date me.
Trading cards? Really?
What's wrong with that? America's a mess, and you're selling trading cards? Yeah, so? So? How dare you? Nobody wants a stupid card, Trump. Well, you ordered 5 of them. Hey, that was supposed to be confidential. The ego on you, Trump. You should be more concerned with helping America. Like us. Yeah, you're nothing but a grifter, getting rich off peasants. My. How quickly you all forget. Forgot what? Yeah, you never helped America. You only helped yourself. Yep. Apparently you forgot how I donated every single payroll check to America for 4 years. So what? Anyone could have done that. Yeah, anybody could do that. I never did nothing for America. I tried. You wouldn't let me. Oh, yeah? Yeah. What did you try to do, Trump? This should be good. Remember when I asked for $5 billion to finish the wall? Yeah, yes. Well, how come you couldn't give me the $5 billion to build the wall? Because we didn't have $5 billion. Yeah, we didn't have $5 billion. You didn't have $5 billion? No, we didn't have $5 billion. Okay? So you didn't have the $5 billion then? I think we've established that. Yeah, Trump, we've already established that. Well, how could you not have $5 billion then, but you have $700 billion now, and the wall's still not finished? Well, It's pretty simple, really. Oh, really? Yeah, it's real simple. Care to explain? Well, if you must know, we didn't have the $5 billion then. Yeah. But we do have the $700 billion now. I know. Now explain why. Because I said so. Yeah, because he said so. Would it have anything to do with laundering money? Oh, how dare you say such a thing? I have never laundered money. Yeah, and I bet you never used one of your magical stock tips either. Hey! Whatever. You're just jealous because you'll never be House Speaker. Oh, really? This is just like temporary until my acting career takes off.
Yeah, funny. I mean, it's true. I mean, it's a point whether you wanted a $5 billion wall or not. We didn't have the money, right? We didn't have $5 billion, but where the fuck have we came up with almost $100 billion for Ukraine? I don't know. They do the budget,
Can you
right?
take my
come
order?
on, we gotta go. There we go. The fight for 15. Oh, fight for freedom. Okay, did you see this, Russell Brand? You're not allowed to use the word freedom anymore because it's violent. Did you guys know that? It's like, oh my God, they just keep changing the definitions of stuff. So yes, lobotomized is what we are. And yeah, let's check it out. Don't use the word freedom anymore because it's an act of violence. Oh, come on. We don't want to hear from him. I want to hear from him.
To grant more power to already powerful establishments and to prevent dissent. Those are two vital jobs. Undermine and smear dissenters and ossify centralized power. Check this out from a CBC article last year. As demonstrations against COVID-19 restrictions continue across Canada, the word freedom is on the lips and placards of many protesters. Yeah, why could that be? Almost like they want freedom and feel like their freedom's being shut down by a raft of new laws that have come from a centralized authority that no one voted for. Almost as if there was an attempt to apply an emergency act illegitimately. Often associated with protests and rallies in the United States, the term has taken hold among protesters who are part of the Freedom Convoy. For many, freedom is a malleable term that's open to interpretation. All words are open to interpretation. You can start breaking down words. You know, misinformation, malinformation, disinformation. Where did those words come from? What do they mean? Who's misinformation? Is there such a thing as objective meaning for words? We're in a sort of the territory of post-modernity and post-structuralism now, but I would argue that this is a bad faith argument. That, for example, those Canadian truckers, when talking about freedom, and most people now, when they're talking about freedom, mean this. I want to be left alone. I want to be left alone by the government, and more importantly, by centralized globalist organizations that have never been elected anyway. That's what freedom means. To see the word freedom bandied about as part of these protests points to a broader circulation of what Elizabeth Anker calls violent forms of freedom. We're just tied together violent freedom. By the way, if anyone said, I want to be free, I want freedom, and I asked, oh, what kind of freedom do you want? Freedom to be horrible and racist and to persecute people. Oh no, that's not freedom. I'm not backing that. Let me be clear. Let me use language deliberately and specifically. But if people say, by freedom, I want to live as I am. I want to be free from government intervention. I don't want to live in a corporatized world where there is no democracy, where I can't leave my house, where I can't work at my job, then I would advocate for that freedom. Similarly, freedom to express yourself however you want to be spoken to using language that suits you and your identity. Cool. Freedom.
Yeah, that's like a 30-minute breakdown. Go head over to Russell Brand if you want to watch the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, I agree with him on this. This is insane. We're now your freedom is different than my freedom, you know. They just keep changing the meanings. I was at some meeting last week and I was trying to explain to people how they just gone into the dictionary and literally changed the definition of all kinds of things, right? And they're like, "What? No, really?" Like, yes, it's shocking to me the freedoms that have been taken from people and they don't even realize it. How many of the plebs do you have to Taiki meme? I don't know. Let's watch this and see what it is. Oh, it's a memeology. Okay.
The question is, how is this transition going to happen? I mean, I totally agree that the world order, the way it is built today, doesn't make any sense. That is not in line with the economic powers like India, Brazil, or Germany. You know that they don't have a massive role in the international order. But to me, the big question is: so how we are going to go through this transform? It has to be. It cannot be gradual. It has to be driven by a certain shock that will happen. So now we will reconsider this entire.
No, so if your question is that this period could be turbulent, could have violence,
Yes.
could have conflicts, we are already living it.
Yeah.
I think the last 5 or 6 years tell us that we are going through a rather turbulent phase.
Mhm.
We have lost a large part of humankind to the pandemic because we were all selfish. We were not willing to share. We were not willing to use the global institutions to deliver responses to different parts of the world. We have lost people. Now, how much more bloodshed do we need to understand that the transition is upon us?
Has to be driven by a certain shock that will happen.
A certain shock. So I think that they're just sitting there admitting that, yeah, we got rid of a huge part of the population during the pandemic. And it happened because you're selfish. You're selfish. You refuse to help people and only thought of yourself. And we need a big shocker to bring on what's coming, right? Is that what they were pretty much summarizing? That's the way I looked at it. And yeah, they know exactly what they're doing. Yes, bloodshed. Exactly, Bill Bradley. That's exactly what I came away with from the protests that I went to this weekend. Until it's the blood of their children running in the streets, they are not going to stand up and say a damn word. And they're just going to keep calling for more. The everyday people are oblivious. Give me my credit card, give me my latte, give me my entertainment, and I don't give a shit what's happening to my neighbor. And we see it constantly in every way. Okay, so we're getting close to the winding up the show, but I brought a channel that I want you guys to go follow because I love this channel. This channel cracks me up, and I find it a very well-researched channel, and it's called The Why Files. Here, let me throw it in the chat for you guys real fast. Big channel, like 1 million followers, at least 1 million followers. He has a heckle fish. He has a little fish that sits next to him and kind of heckles him while he's, telling the story or, doing his thing. And I find it really cute, but I find him really well researched. So here, I dropped it. Oh, what did I just do? I dropped it in the chat. Let me go back over there. I got to come out of my screen to drop it for you guys. There we go. I always leave them under there so I can drop in the chat. Okay. There you go. Go follow this channel. And here's just a little clip of one of his shows and the type of stuff that he goes into.
When you turn your Singularity engine off, a new timeline is created due to the fact that you and your time machine are now there. Some interesting outcomes of this are: 1, you meet yourself. I have done it often, even taken a younger version of myself along for a few rides before returning myself to the new timeline and going back to mine.
Well, what the heck? Why did it only play 5 seconds of that? It didn't play the whole thing. Weird.
When you turn your Singularity engine off, a
Sometimes
new
YouTube
timeline
does
is
that. Like wherever I quit watching it at is where it'll start it at.
created.
Come on. Go down. No, it won't do it. Anyways, go follow that channel. There's so much good information over there. So basically that was a breakdown of a time traveler, right? John Tintor. He was a time traveling soldier. I think they even did a big Hollywood movie with Tom Cruise about it, right? Where he says that time machines will not be invented, or we will invent a time machine by 2034. That's when time travel will be invented. And it was funny because I watched that last night, and then this morning I wake up to see that researchers at CERN break the speed of light. So scientists say that they recorded particles traveling faster than light, a finding that could overturn Einstein's fundamental law of the universe. So a spokesman for the International Group of Research said that measurements taken over the last 3 years show neutrons pumped into CERN near Geneva and then sent to Italy have arrived 60 nanoseconds quicker than the light would have done. So basically, CERN's traveling faster than the speed of light. I know I had a little bit of follow-up. I'm trying to get to it real fast. So, of course, Einstein's theory of special relativity is 1905, which says the speed of light is a cosmic constant and that nothing in the universe can travel faster. So there you go. They just broke Einstein's theory of the speed of light. And I think that they might actually have time travel by 2034. You never know. I mean, there's so many crazy stories out there about the time travelers, right? I mean, go watch the Y Files. He's got a lot of files on that. I'd say he's got probably 200 videos up, some really good stuff too. So definitely go check out that channel if you have not. I find it amusing because he's got the little heckle fish that kind of calls him out on stuff. And yeah, no free energy device will ever be allowed to reach the market. Do you understand? I understand? I know you guys understand, but that's really what it comes down to. We could have had free energy 100 years ago. Of course, the big wigs of industry crushed Tesla, stole his shit, just destroyed him. And that's where we are. They have the patent. They have Tesla's patents. You know, Tesla knew what the fuck the pyramids were for and how they worked, right? He understood that they were a big power plant, basically. But you can't reconcile that with the history that we've been taught that they were just made for as tombs. And they were made, 45,000 years or 4,500 years ago. That's not the reality of the pyramids or even the Sphinx at all. So you guys know, do your research. I just find it funny that we're finding out more and more that just like with science, there's just opinions and there's bureaucrats ruling it, right? The things that we were taught, that I was taught in the 70s and 80s in school, not even a fucking reality, not even close to a reality, right? I'm so glad that I've continually educated myself because I can't imagine walking around thinking the shit that we were taught in the 70s and 80s about history. Just stupid, just made up stupid shit. And now we're starting to realize the truth. And I know some of you don't like Graham Hancock or, Randall Carlson, but I tend to subscribe that we had much older civilizations and that they tried to dump it all on, Egypt and be like, well, these were the first big civilizations or, the Middle East, but we know better now. Let's see. I got a meme here. I didn't intend to become a conspiracy theorist, but after I examined all the evidence, it was either that or go back to living a lie. Exactly. I mean, you can only go look at the truth and then you're out of the matrix, right? You've been red pilled. You can't go back in and it sucks, but it is the reality. When civilization ends, the world will rejoice. I have a feeling that that's kind of true, right? Especially the animals, the creatures. Let's see. Did I have anything else for you guys? Oh yeah, I do. This is kind of funny. Let me go check my third screen, see if I can pull it over here. Did you guys see this shit? So this is Facebook. I want to say Facebook has cut the perks that the employees are going to get. Listen to these goddamn perks.
Parent company of Facebook informed its employees that it would be cutting down on the various perks, including, listen to this. Have you heard this?
No.
Free laundry.
Are you kidding me?
Free dry cleaning and valet service, as well as delaying the daily free dinner by a half an hour from 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m.
Yes. The pushback dinner service means fewer employees will get to eat on campus as the company's last shuttle bus departs the office at 6 p.m. As a result, employees will now have to decide between a free meal or a free ride home. It will also make it more difficult for employees to stock up on free food to bring home as leftovers. There's one quote here from somebody who works in food service. The guy says, here's what the guy says. This is the anonymous quote in the New York Times story. I can honestly say when our peers are cramming 3 to 10 to-go boxes full of steak to take them home, nobody cares about our culture. The parent company of Facebook.
You know that those are good steaks too, right? You know that those are like ribeye. And you know that those are damn good steaks. That was shocking to me. So apparently all this time at Facebook, you could get free laundry, you could get valet service, you could get dry cleaning service. Hell, they feed you dinner and then shuttle you back out to your car, and high quality food they eat. I'm sure it is. And so now they have to choose. They can either get a ride to their car or they can stay for dinner, but they can't do both. So, Facebook stepping it up. It's so stupid. I did a little decorating while I was in Seattle. One of my favorite haunts is this restaurant tavern called the 5 Points Cafe in the middle of Belltown. So I hurried over there, and they kind of have a really cool motif. Like, it's like a bar, but they have really good food. And I was just sitting there with all the stickers around me because there's just stickers on all the walls. And I had a pocket full of Julian Assange stickers and Roar Media stickers. So I did a little redecorating while I was over there. You guys, let's write Julian Assange, please. Here is the address in Belmarsh. Screenshot it, blow it up, or send me a message and I will send you the address. It only takes a second to write him a postcard with some pretty scenery on it. Give him something to look at. Give him something new to see. Tell him you support him, that we're out here fighting for him to be free and to be back with his family and his love. And we're never going to stop. We're never going to stop, because if Julian Assange is extradited and prosecuted, no journalism will ever be safe ever again in the world. And we know it. So it was really good to meet with a lot of the Assange people this weekend. It was, it's kind of our driving purpose. Okay, let's shout out our chats real fast and we'll get out of here. No convo yet, huh? Pasta just messaged me, but I don't think they were live yet. Let me see. What does Pasta have to say? Pasta says LOL. I guess that's good. That's good. Okay. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Amber says golden age of tech babies, free beer, massages, and dinner is over. Get your asses in the office or AI is taking your job. Good one, Amber. That's the reality of it, right? I mean, they're building the machines, the sort that are going to outsource them, and the software. Retod, thank you so much for joining us. Is that Rummel? I don't have my glasses on. It's so hard for me to see the Rockfin. I apologize if I get it wrong. Linda's hanging out over there. Sharon, thank you so much. Lizzie, you were with us in spirit on the ground in Seattle. I had my hoodie on, and of course, I didn't have that thing on 10 minutes, and I dumped stuff on it. I can't wear white, especially on a all-day road trip. But live and learn. Glory Jones is in the house. Is that Glory? I think it is. Oh my gosh, I work from home. Oh no, that's Glora Joan, not Glory Jones. But hey, you want to troll me? That's cool. I don't mind. Troll all you want. If you're working from home, you can use my chat to try to make money. Osama number 5, welcome. Glad to see you. Sorry we weren't on the Rumble today. Vass Adams, Vic, hi. Bella Lugosi in the house. Of course, Yona. Who else do I got in the chat today? You guys are so great. Gamer stopped by. I saw that. Of course, Popeye the Sailor's here. Jilly, thank you so much for always taking care of the chat. Red Cloud, so glad to see you. Hello. Pyramid 7, so glad to see you. Bill Bradley, thank you guys so much. I'm glad to see new names. I love it when I see new names joining our chats, because that means I'm actually reaching new people, and that's what it's about, right? Is Amber on Rumble? Amber will be on Rumble, and I will be back on Rumble. Is Amber on Rumble? Are we showing your show on Rumble, Amber? I don't know if she has a Brave New Future channel or what we're doing over there, but I will find out for you guys. I will find out. I'm sure if she doesn't, she will very shortly, because we all seem to be migrating to Rumble, but it's only a matter of time before Rumble starts playing games and screwing us too, right? It's hard. Rockfin, we definitely know on Rockfin, we won't be messed with over there. And you know, you just got to look out for the platforms that aren't going to stomp on us. So I appreciate you guys so much today. I got a great closer for you guys today. I should have gave Oz this closer, but I was being selfish. I had to keep it for myself. So I've said it multiple times today, until it's the blood of our children running you know, across the globe. No, we're not going to get the amount of people we need to stand up and say enough, no war, enough. We're not doing this. So here we go. I'm going to close with Metallica 1 today. I don't normally take you guys hard, you know, heavy metal, and I don't consider Metallica heavy metal. I just consider them my youth. So Amber will be heading to Vegas for the Cocaine Bear move. What is it? The Cocaine Bear premiere. We'll just say premiere. You guys know I did a story about Cocaine Bear a couple months ago, right? It's crazy. Airplane full of coke, wrecks, and the bear finds the cocaine and eats all the cocaine. And then I don't think he raged in real life. I think he just dropped dead in real life. And then they did an autopsy and realized that he had ate like 45 pounds of coke or some shit. But that'll be interesting, Amber. I'm looking forward to reports from all of you. Of course, she'll be on the ground with our AM Wake Up friends. And yeah, it'll be nice to get an update from Vegas. So looking forward to it, Amber. I will be back with you guys on Thursday for To Hell and Back. And the topic is China the next victim of Big Pharma's opiate wars? So we're going to get into that. We love to blame China for our fentanyl problem, but really it comes down to Big Pharma. And now China is got their own damn problems when it comes to opiates. So I will break that all down for you. Of course, Pasto should be joining me for that. And Oz and I will be back for Beauty and the Boomer on Saturday. Oh, Friday morning. You can join. Oz will probably stop by and we'll kind of do a bitch session on Friday morning. So thank you guys so much for joining me. All of you. I can't believe how many are joining me this morning. I thought I'd have like 10 watching because I haven't done a show in 2 weeks, but it's great that you guys are here. Much love to all of you. Stay vigilant and stay pissed off, because that's what it's going to take. I will see you guys on Thursday. Have a great day.
I can't remember anything. Can't tell if this is true or true. Deep down inside, I feel the scream. This terrible silence stops me. Now that the war is through with me, I'm waking up, I cannot see that there's not much left of me. Nothing is real but pain now. Hold my breath as I wish for death. Oh, please, God, wake me. Back in the womb, it's much too real. It comes like that I must feel. Forget look forward to it. Look to a side without you it. Fed through the tube that stinks in me. Just like a wartime novelty. Tied to my chains that make me pay. Cut this life on totally. death. Oh, please don't wake me. Darkness imprisoning me. All that I say, absolute horror. I cannot live, I cannot die. Trapped in myself by my own insane. That one has taken my sight, taken my speech, taken my ears, taken my eyes, taken my legs, taken my soul. Let me with life and life.